So the first activity asked me to take 5 minutes to create something from this like wave looking shape. I decided that it looked like a flower petal or kind of like a cartoon sun ray. So I essentially just drew like a bunch of connected overlapping flowers or suns, whatever you want them to be. The second, divide the figure into 4 equal parts, so it looks like an L. I thought that if I divided it into squares, so that would be 3 big squares that each have 4 squares in them. So if I need to divide it into 4 parts, each shape needs to have 3 squares in it. So then you can make an L shape, but it only works if you make the first L around here. Essentially, it kind of like looks like this. 1 L shape, 2 L shapes, 3 L shapes, 4 L shapes, and they're all flipped around, but they're all essentially the exact same shape. For the candle, using the materials on the table, a cardboard box, a thumbtack matches the candle, figure out how to attach the candle to the wall above the table so that the wax does not drip on the table. If you attach the candle standing upright to the center of the box by inserting a thumbnail through the bottom, so now you have this kind of base. So then you take that box, you can use 2 thumbtacks and attach that to the wall. Then it's kind of like makes a shelf essentially, so then you can burn it and the wax won't drip. For the group activity, let's see. Let me refresh. Each detective agency is to answer the following questions that will require them to evaluate the evidence, select the best answer based on the evidence, and indicate the evidence that supports your answer. Daily Cruz in Vienna, expected to meet someone. I said probably true. The evidence that I'm using there is a note agreeing to be at a place at a certain time. That's sentence 10. That's assuming that someone else is probably there. De La Cruz in Vienna, expected to encounter some form of radiation. I said that was true. Because of the lead masks. That's sentence 5. De La Cruz and Vienna were conducting an experiment. I said probably true, and that's sentence 11 because it just says wait for effects there, so they're waiting to see what happens. And Cruz and Vienna were in a violent fight with someone. I said false because it says there was no signs of trauma on the body, so that's sentence 3. It says they were murdered during a robbery. I said probably false because there was no sign of struggle or anything. That's in the first 3 sentences there. Intentionally killed themselves by ingesting the capsule. I think that's probably false because, once again, it said wait for side effects. But also I said not enough evidence. As a final answer, I said not enough evidence to make a determination because they're waiting for side effects, but they're also meeting somebody. So maybe they did mean to kill themselves and the other person was supposed to look at the side effects. So I don't think there's enough evidence there to conclude that. And then expected to meet aliens. I don't think that there's evidence to conclude that one as well, even though it talks in that later paragraph about reporting to see UFOs. I don't think there's anything in here that shows intention of seeing UFOs. Killed by aliens, I said probably false because they were probably killed by whatever they ingested. because they're waiting on it. They're waiting for an effect that they obviously don't know about, or else they would have specified the effect. So they probably were killed by those pills. What's your agency's working hypothesis? My working hypothesis is that the men were killed by an improper dosage or whatever was in the capsules. Reasoning and evidence. They had a return ticket for the water bottle. That kind of suggests that they weren't intending to die. They were waiting for the after effects. Also alludes to the fact that they were not intending to die. They were looking for after effects. And there was no struggle or trauma to the body, so they probably were not murdered or robbed in a situation. I guess the only additional questions do you want answered is why the raincoats, and like what the raincoats had to do with anything here. And then that's it for that one.